QB1 potential. But the question that came into my head, and I have a wild idea that's actually realistic. That's realistic, but I don't think, and I'm gonna just be flat out. I don't think Washington. I'm not gonna pinpoint one person, but I think it's realistic. But I think Washington don't have the balls to do it. There's a really good option in how this Taylor Heinicke thing can play out. But my question that I posed in my head was: is he altering the quarterback plans for the Washington football team in their future? Dre, I'm gonna hand this to you. But the basis of this conversation is just understanding that he has been playing really good out of the bye week. I think he has 77% completion percentage on, matter of fact, I got the numbers right now, 462 yards, 42 of 54 passes, 4 touchdowns, averaging nearly 5 yards per carry. He has no turnovers. And he's also leading the team on really good drives, man. 17 of 32 on third down the team is on offense. 4-4 on fourth down. And then the team is dominating the time of possession by an average of 15 minutes per game against the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll just put it this way. What do you make of Taylor Heinicke right now, man? Is this something that you need to buy into a little bit more, or you're just like you're interested or just seeing how things play out?
Well, I mean, I think as far as, I guess, if we're talking, future right now, my point still stands about Taylor Heinicke in the quarterback position as a whole, that if you can upgrade, you do it in the offseason. I mean, but right now, Taylor Heinicke is at the very least showing you that he's that bridge option they thought Ryan Fitzpatrick was going to be. He's looking like at least the last 2 weeks, and he started, every game. Well, outside of the first game of the season, he started most of the games this season. And we're starting to get that sample size we've been looking for from him. And instead of kind of like tailing off and, really playing bad into backup level, he's actually forcing a conversation to say, this guy can actually play. I mean, he can actually play. I mean, I think he's better than a couple of starting quarterbacks in this league right now. I mean, at least what he's playing, like,
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, exactly.
With the Giants, bro.
Goddamn,
put my money on them and they won.
See, that's when you went wrong.
Like that, bro. No, we ain't gonna talk about it. Go ahead.
That's okay. But no, I mean, that's what I mean though. Like he's better than a couple of guys you're watching this year in the NFL to start quarterback. And I know a lot of people call him a high-end QB2, which that's a fair assessment of him. But I think he's a low-end starter right now. I mean, he looks like a low-end starter, which is good. Like I said, if you want that bridge option, like I said, he looks like what Ryan Fitzpatrick probably should have been this season. And who knows? I mean, if he keeps playing like this and they string together some wins and they walk into the playoffs, I mean, this team might like him going into next season. Because the thing I look at with Taylor Heinicke, outside of the numbers and a couple of his flaws and deficiencies, I look at how his teammates respond to him, and his teammates seem to love him.
Yes.
And it's a leadership thing too. Like he looks like a really good leader on the field. And Terry McLaurin loves him. Cam Sims loves him. I see these guys comment on his Instagram post all the time that, Taylor's our guy, and they talk glowingly of him. Like even Ron Rivera is starting to like really talk glowingly of him. So maybe, maybe we don't have to answer this question today, but maybe Taylor is actually growing into his own position. And right now, like I said, at the very least, he looks like a low-end starter. I would love to hear AJ's opinion on this. I wish he was here because I know he hates it.
What's going on, y'all? This is Jamal, and this is just your reminder that you can catch each and every live stream episode of the Trap or Die podcast Tuesday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern live on my Twitch channel. The link is in the description. And if you miss any episodes, you can catch the video on demand on my Twitch channel that takes you to each and every episode that you may have missed. With that being said, make sure you like, subscribe to my YouTube channel where we post clips of the show, clips of interviews, interesting conversations, game analysis, film breakdowns, but also where we live stream our instant game analysis from each and every Washington football game immediately after the game is over. With that being said, I'm out of here. Y'all be safe, and I'll catch you next time.
Taylor Heinicke.
Hey, man, I would love to hear it too. I think one of the things that you spoke on that's actually, it's annoying, but not like in a bad way. It's annoying because when you hear it, and I'll speak on this soon, but when you hear it, you're like, damn, if the players feel this way, it's hard. And they have that decision to move on from him. Like, if the players like him and they see that he's improving and things like that, it's hard for them to sit here and say, you know what, I still like these other quarterbacks, I'm gonna go for them. Like, it's hard for them to do that knowing the players feel this type of way about, Taylor Heinicke. And my thing is, Dre, with this guy, the thing that kind of has me thinking I need Taylor Heinicke to play well is because of the following. The goal was to never, like, you understand, and Ron Rivera knows, like, you're looking for quarterbacks when the season is over. You're looking at free agency, you're looking at the draft, you're looking at all your options to try and figure out who your quarterback is going to be. That probably includes the current roster and Taylor Heinicke and or Ryan Fitzpatrick. Realistically, Fitzpatrick is going to go. So that eliminates him from that situation. So that leaves Taylor Heinicke. Kyle Allen, goodbye. Whatever. So it leaves Taylor Heinicke. That's the one person on the roster. Who would you want in free agency? The only person that you can really think of right now that's a top tier starter would be Aaron Rodgers, because apparently there may be some agreement, and I may be wrong in terms of the exact details, but from what I remember back in August or July, the details is that they're going to work something out where this is his last year and he can walk. So if I'm wrong and they have to trade him or something, then y'all can correct me after the show. That leaves Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, that's up for trade, and maybe even Derek Carr, depending on the situation in Las Vegas. I need Taylor Heinicke to play well, because not only is he playing to prove himself as a starter, if things work out in the eyes of the Washington football team, Dre, and nobody has mentioned this yet, I don't know why nobody has mentioned this yet, and I'm glad nobody has mentioned this yet, because I'm going to be the person to say it. It's not a stupid idea. I just don't think Washington has the balls to do it. You put Taylor out there and you make sure that he understands this offense. You make sure that he puts out his best foot forward, because what you're going to do, if this team continues to play well and they find their way into the playoffs, and you see that this defense is all of a sudden playing well and it may become a desirable attraction for a top tier quarterback. For those who can't see what I'm doing right now, I'm dangling. Put that man out there as trade bait. I'm not about to sit here and deal with Taylor Heinicke, like, in terms of a controversy or a potential backup who, like, because everybody loves that backup quarterback if the starter ain't playing well. I'm not going to sit here and deal with that. You make sure that Taylor Heinicke is playing well right now. So what you can do for the other teams who are interested, maybe a Deshaun Watson. Obviously, when we talk about Deshaun, pending everything goes well, and that his name is cleared of any negativity and foul play or anything like that. But you're making sure that you have an option for these guys. So, like, when they're ready to trade these players, Washington becomes a desirable state for some of these players who once thought that they couldn't win a championship here. The defense is all of a sudden playing well. The team is seemingly coming together. They're playing for Ron. All they need is that quarterback. And people want to play with Terry McLaurin. People want to play with Logan Thomas. That offensive line, we talked about this, Dre. If you can pass protect as well as they are, and obviously their run block is okay as well, if you can do all of these things with this team, boom, it all of a sudden becomes an attraction again. And I can use Taylor Heinicke out there and say, you know what? We'll give you Taylor. Give us your guy, and obviously we'll give you some more with Taylor too. Maybe a draft pick and maybe another top tier player that can kind of help you for your franchise quarterback. That's kind of where I'm at with it. It's an option that nobody's never thought about, and I think that it's time to start thinking about other options when it comes to Taylor, not just about his future here, but also what he can do for the team in terms of flipping an asset.
And I agree with that. I mean, because you see how they botched the Kirk Cousins thing. You know, I mean, you know, the fan base had their, you know, emotions about Kirk Cousins or their feelings about Kirk Cousins, but at the end of the day, they botched that situation. I mean, Kirk Cousins, at the very least, you should have gotten a draft pick for something. So that's where, you know, with Heinicke, I agree completely, because if you draft a guy next year with Heinicke here, that guy better be good out the gate if you're going to put him, if you're going to play him, because the players, like you said, the players are going to look at this and like, hey, we know we can play with this guy here, and he's on the bench. So you're going to have to, you know, either get something for him or figure out what you want to do with him.
Hey, so look, if people start, look, if y'all hear this right now, people who are listening and watching, if y'all hear that right now and y'all start hearing about those trade rumors in a couple months, just make sure that Marley on Trap or Dive said that, you know what, he was the first person to say it. Just put my, hey, give us credit.
Whole hard in the trenches, ask a nigga what he benching, triple digits, nigga, don't forget to mention. Whole hard in the trenches, ask a nigga.